All right, so what we're doing is we're working on understanding some nuanced animation techniques using the speed graph and so on, motion blur, easy ease, and another concept is squash and stretch. So if you watch animation, if you ever watch Bugs Bunny, when they're about to run, they wind up before they take off, that type of thing. Well, when you have this ball, it falls, it hits the ground. When it hits the ground, it should squash and then stretch as it comes back up, all right? So let's look at that. So here we've got our animation. If I play it, it looks pretty good, all right? Now what we want to do now, first of all, is have it where when the ball hits the ground, it smashes a little bit. And then when it rises up into the air, it goes back to its original shape. So I want to open up, I'm going to close position for the ball. I'm going to open up scale and position. Oh, let's do both. Let's do scale. And what I want to do is have the ball hit the ground. So there's a keyframe for where it hits the ground. I want to see all of them. So I'm going to close scale. I'm going to click here and just toggle down. So now I can see position, scale, rotation, everything, right? So here I am on that keyframe for the position. And what I want to do is I want it to squash on this frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the first keyframe and click scale. So it's at 100%. Then I'm going to go to the keyframe where it's smashing, and I'm going to squash it. So that's stretching it. What I want to do is unlock the width and the height. And I don't want to stretch it vertically, I want to stretch it horizontally. Like so. So it's going to come down and smash. Now, as you can see, it's smashing in the air, so we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that in a second. So now I want to go to where the ball's up in the air, and I want to set it back to 100%. And so now it's back to its regular shape. Oh, and yeah, it looks like it's hitting the ground, but I think I want to click on it and arrow key it down a little bit. I can shift arrow to move it down 10 pixels, but I just want to move its position down a little bit so it looks like it's smashing. So now it's going down, and it's actually starting to smash before it hits the ground. We're going to fix that, and it comes back up to its original shape. Now it's going to come down again, and we're going to scale it just a little less this time. Then I want it to bounce back up, and I want it to be 100% again. Now what I can do is I can come here and grab this first keyframe where it's 100% on scale. I can copy it, Control C or Command C, and then on this keyframe, Command or Control V, and paste that keyframe in over here. All right, and then I'll go to where it smashes again, and I just want to scale just a little less, maybe only 90% wrong direction. There we go. And then come back up, and then down, and we want it to be, on this keyframe, we want it to be stopped. So we're going to paste in that original keyframe from the first one, and now we've got it bouncing. Now the only problem is that it starts to squash before it hits the ground. So what we want to do now is we want to click on our graph editor, and we want to go to, we're looking at scale, we want to go to the value graph. Now we want to adjust the value of how this object is scaling. We don't want it to scale until it it hits the ground. I'm going to go through this one here. And I'm going to go to this one here, do the same. Whoop, that's in the air. Let's go to this one here. Now let's see how it looks. Now it's got a little agency. It's bouncing like a ball would bounce. That's our bouncing ball. Now, what I can do is grab all those keyframes and I can right click and I can apply easy ease to them. And now, there we go. Now, if I wanted to change the keyframes, I could click the keyframes. I'm going to keep this the same here. I can select the keyframes and I can drag them closer together. But there's an easier way. What I can do is I can select all these keyframes. And I can use a keyboard command to smash them together. The Alt or Option key. So when I squash them together like this, it keeps the distance, the proportionate distance between the keyframes intact. All right, so now we've got our ball done. We're going to close that. We're going to lock it. And we're going to open up, turn on Cloud 1. And we'll just do a little bit of animation here. So I'm just going to set a couple of keyframes. I can even turn the ball, visibility for the ball off. And I'm just going to go to the cloud. And I'm going to close that and use the keyboard command for position. So it's P. And I'm just going to make a keyframe. I'm going to hit the position key. And then I'll drag it over a little bit. And then change the shapes, position a little bit. And then I'll just set these two keyframes at the beginning and end of my animation. And it's going to take that far to travel across the whole animation. Actually, I think I'll make it where it travels a little further at the end. Hold the shift key down to keep it straight. And I'll do the same thing for the cloud, Cloud 2. So I'm going to close that, open up Cloud 2, go down to Transform. And I'll set my, we want to make Cloud 2 visible and turn off Cloud 1. And I'm just going to have the Cloud 2 go the other direction. So let's see, it doesn't matter where I start here, but I'm just going to set a position. And then I'm going to move it over and have it go the other direction. Oops, I don't want it to go up. I'm going to go to the side here, have it go the other direction, and then set these keyframes at the beginning and end of my animation as well. Then I'm going to close everything, turn everything on. And let's set it to fit. And let's play our animation. And that's our bouncing ball. All right, that's a really good tutorial on understanding some of the mechanics of animation in After Effects.